Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Team Fortress TV. I am joined by Ombrack and Gemm, and we are going to be casting the game of the Germans against Feint, and it's going to be Granary and Product. Ombrack, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really good, Samski, and I want you to say the German team's name. You can't get away with just saying the German.
Okay. I'm going to pronounce it really badly, though.
It's fine.
Okay.
For the entertainment.
Oh, for the entertainment, okay. Wer das liest ist doof.
Yeah.
There we go.
Good.
There we go. I've humiliated myself now.
So yeah, should be decent. I think both teams scored points last week, so it's not like David against Goliath kind of game. It's not like one team has 6 points and the other has 0. Even though on paper I think most people would give the win Feint, but I think it's a bit closer than that, and we shall see how it unravels tonight. But I don't know what you. Maybe we should go on the rosters first. I don't know how you want it.
Yeah, I guess we can compare the rosters. So, do you want to take the German team?
Yeah. So on German team, it's not the usual roster people could expect because there are just some mercs laying around here and there. So the medic is not a German player, it's Honey Badger. The demo man is not a German player, it's Warrior. The pocket soldier is not a German player, it's Josh, is subbing for Clip. The Roma is German. Wow, for a German team that's only one player so far, it's Fishkopf. And the first scout is Stefan or Shoki. You know him pretty well. He's a star player for this team, I think. And the second scout is Nuthouse because Unable is unable to play tonight.
That was terrible.
Yeah, but it's done.
Okay, and on Feint Gaming, I think they're quite well known now. On the two scouts, we have Kunu and Sorex. On soldiers, we have Amarok on Pocket and Korbak on Roma. And then we have Ali on Demo and Seeds on Medic. So, comparing the two rosters as a whole and maybe more individually, do you think that there is any particular players that are going to shine / turn the tables for each team?
I want to say the scouts for Feint, mostly because we're gonna so first map is Granary, but second map will be Products, and we know how it's a scout heavy map. So I before tonight I want to say I would say Kunu and Sorex would completely dominate the game, but after watching Shoki's performance last week, I wouldn't give it that easily to Feint now, just because Shoki's there, and I have some faith in Josh being able to main call that team to greater heights than what they've shown so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I was going to say that I think the main thing, having watched War's stream before this game, I think the main thing is going to be the soldiers. I think the coordination between the French combo for Feint is going to really make the difference, especially on Granary, where you have those famous coordinated bombs at the beginning of mids. So just before we jump into the game, give me your predictions, Ombrack. Is it going to be a shared map, or is someone going to take this away?
Both these teams went to Golden Cap last week on Granary, but I think Feint has the edge. It should be kind of close-ish, but I don't know, something like 4-1 to Feint.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I have to agree. I don't think it's going to be a roll, but I think that the scoreline's going to be comfortable for Feint, and this map really suits their playstyle of taking things a bit more slowly, and especially when they get a lead, they're going to definitely force their hand out of the German team. So I expect them to take this quite comfortably as we do start the game. So this, once again, is the Week 2 official between Wer der liest ist doof against Feint Gaming. And we are sponsored this season by STN Trading and Copenhagen Games. Ombrack, take the first medal away.
Let's see where Ali Boy is. I can't quite find him, but I feel like he's taking quite the edge over Warrior. As I say that, nothing is really happening. Spam is traded. Warrior actually was really weak. Like that could be an opening here. And Korbak fails to hit there, so should be a reset maybe for Feint. Nice rocket here from Josh onto Seeds, but shouldn't be enough to get down the English medic. And knowing the Feint playstyle, maybe they want to retreat and take things carefully. But it looks like Aliboy doesn't really hear from that here. He's backing, he's leading his team into that fight, and by positioning is a nice time here from Warrior. Yeah, if they get the mid eventually, really scrappy fights until now. And I feel like this isn't really what Feint will want to happen that game.
No, and Honey's going to come back with that Uber. It's equal players at the moment. The scouts are taking 1v1. The Ubers are going to be popped very equally. Amarok's getting a lot of damage onto Josh, and it's going to force the Uber flash. And now the spawns are going to be in favour of the German team, and that's going to force Feint to back off. So Honey did enough delaying there by using his Uber quite late on. And yeah, it was a good repush there from Feint, but I think the fact that Honey still had Uber cost them, as they do look like they're going to get aggressive in Garage.
One thing to mention is that this is Ali's first official this week, this season. He didn't play the first one, Gagging murked for him, so maybe Ali will need a bit of time, you know, to shake off the rust and get back into official mode. So maybe this is why he took a fight maybe he shouldn't have taken with his team. Because you've mentioned a bit how Feint plays. Some would say they are boring, but let's say they're being cautious. And they want to take things slow, and there's one thing that is really sure is Granary doesn't really highlight aggressive gameplay, so I'm expecting Feint to be a bit more comfortable if they're taking slow, and Ali needs to get in that mindset of maybe waiting a bit for the German to do things, and as they have more quality with Ombrack and Kudu especially, I think they should take it.
As Ombrack just destroys Josh there as he tries to jump in. So yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I think as well that unfortunately for the German team, their playstyle is going to really fall into the hands of what Feint like to go against, which is people that try and force it all the time. As Fishkoff goes very low down onto the midpoint, as Feint are trying to get aggressive on the left side, but Ombrack does go down on the flank at the same time, and looks like Feint are just going to reset on second points there.
And this is what Feint is good at, yeah, like getting a sack in, and if it's not working, resetting a bit more and trying to hold position, and that's like that bomb.
Nice shot there from Emma.
Yeah, I nearly hated the German, but look at the Germans, they're being really aggressive, but that leads them to using quite a early Uber, and Seeds now at some 20 ad in his hands. They maybe can get a Warrior off guard. They get the frag on the demo man that should open things up for them to push onto middle.
Yeah, and Josh is looking to try and hold aggressively here, but Honey's already backing off the hills. He's going to be standing on this pack, and he's going to be trying to shoot Ali, launches him up in the air, and he's going to go down with the help of Nuthouse. Josh does get quickly traded, but the Germans are they're overextending here massively. Honey's going to get picked off. Nice bomb there from the soldiers, and Sorex is going to get a nice 3k there to clean up the frags. Honey should have just completely backed off there. He stayed in for way too long.
Yeah, I was about to say that Ali was playing a bit too disconnected from his teammate, but it looks like this time it actually baked German into a really bad fight, and in the end the flank play from Amarok was the nail on the coffin for the German, and they had to, well, they didn't have to, they just died, all of them, and in the end it's a pretty good ad for Seeds and Feint Gaming, so it should be okay for them to push now, but maybe that's the plan, get Ali a bit too forward, use him as a and completely crush the dreams of
the Uber actually got forced off there by Josh. He got a nice rocket onto Seeds to force it, but War's in trouble here. He's going to get a lot of damage put onto him, and Nuthouse is going to go down as well. Ali does go down in response, and the gun is up, so this might be an alright hold here for the German team, but Feint don't look like they want to get up. Kunu's pressuring forward, and a jump forward from Ombrack. They really need to try and play the point here, but the sentry's covering it. Uber's almost up for him.
That was quite lucky for War here, and he fell to 20 HP, and if Kunu had an ESP, he would have known the demo one was low, but in the end that's a hold for the Germans. They're trying to look like they want to push out, taking things slowly, Honey baiting a bit his teammate to stay alive, and in the end they have the Uber, but Seeds as building really well in the Feint network can have the Uber to hold on that second point.
Yeah, the Uber's actually going to be up for Seeds, and I don't know if the German team know about this. They're going in straight away, and Seeds is already wrapped round to the left. Kunu might be the only pick here. Seeds tried to use the Uber, and War's actually behind, and I don't know if they know about this. The soldiers actually not turning around, so War could be a really key part of this, but the pick are going through, as we see War coming through connector now. He's going to get absolutely demolished by Ali and Amok. And even though Honey tried to pressure in with Josh, it was too late, and Josh is going to get picked off here, and this is a massive advantage here for Feint to push in right now.
Yeah, looks like Honey's trying to go for it, so he gets one, but that's not nearly enough, and the 2 frags are coming in the ends of the Ombrack and Callback. It should be around for Feint if they can clean up Fishkop. They do get the frags, and that's 1-0. You mentioned that you didn't know if the Germans were aware that the Ubers were even, and they clearly were not, because Warrior jumped in with the Uber behind and did nothing with the charge, so it just gave a really good opportunity for Feint to well, capitalize on the mistakes and take the first round.
Yeah, and I think also as well, Josh went down there when they were capping on second point, which I think is a really key pick to get the pocket soldier down when you're pushing into yard. As we do see the beginning of the mid, War's going to fall down very weak. Both Dobermans picking up their pack. As we're going to see some nice soldier bombs here, really high onto the medic. Ombrack falls down very weak, and Corvac's going to follow up on his damage and pick off the medic. War's also gone down very weak, and Corvac's doing a lot here. But now we just see Feint healing up, playing as one big death ball, and Fishkopf is going to go down. Stefan is going behind him. War's going to jump in. Massive jump there. Gets a pipe onto Seeds, and they need to be careful of Stefan and Josh, who are going in here. He picks off, and Seeds, Stefan picks off Seeds as well, so massive play there to pick off Seeds at the end of the mid fight.
Yeah,
but other than that, it's going to Feint.
Nice salvage play here from War and Shoki in Stefan, but it feels like I didn't see Nahhouse Stefan at all protecting their medics from the bombing soldiers, so I feel like they need some adjustments on the middle, maybe to make things work a bit more. They were fortunate to pick up Seeds. Oh no, Ali with the sticky trap just gets Warrior, even the War saw Ali setting up the trap, so I don't really know what happened, but in the end that's a pretty even situation. Honey has a better Uber, but he doesn't have a demo with him, so it should be even, and Feint should be able to reset and hold their yards, and now it's up to them to break the stalemate.
Sorry, I thought Josh was going to get picked off there. He was in real, he felt really weak. Honey is usually aware of advantages as well, so it'll be interesting to see if they look to take this. War is getting aggressive towards the shutter, but it's too late. Seeds is about to hit his Uber as well, so we're going to see we're trying to peek through Z at the moment, but I think Feint are going to be very comfortable in this position. They're holding the enemy's yard, and they've got equal Ubers in their 1 round up.
And what they're doing right now is a classic, trying to bring the heals onto the ramp room, but Korvac and Sorex now being cleaned up by the Germans. And now maybe Ombrack as well is getting nice fight here from War, and this is a complete disaster for Feint Gaming. They really need to go back now to maybe even give up the middle point. Let's see how they decide to fight this.
Oh my god, Kunu absolutely destroyed. Oh my god, and Cormac follows up his damage and picks off Fishkopf. So actually that terrible position turned into a really good Uber fight for Feint. War's still down, and they're going to be flooding this left-hand side. Nuthouse is in real trouble here, falls down to 40 HP, and is going to get picked off. And that was really well coordinated from Feint there.
I feel this is the second time now that German, as I say that. Ooh, Sorex with a nice Z play, pasta play onto Josh, get the frag, and call back with pull up 2 rockets, 3 rockets on Honey, and this could be another round for Feint if they can clean up the frags while he dies as well. Even though he gets Seeds, but that shouldn't hurt Feint that much. But I'll say that everybody's weak onto Feint, and maybe the cleanup crew is coming. Stefan and Nuthouse getting all the frags. Now it's only Ombrack and Kunu, and this is hold somehow for the Germans. I don't really know how they did that, but they managed to secure their last points.
Yeah, I didn't see Seeds go down there, but he went down almost the same time as Honey, so I'm guessing he got flanked by one of the scouts, so that's the only thing I can assume. But it is going to be equal Ubers, and the German team are actually going to get really aggressive here. Callback's going to go down, and they're trying to bust through. Honey does go down here, so this is going to play right into Feint's hands. They can just play a bit more passive. Ali is going to go very weak, but he's going to get some help, and it's just going to be Fishkopf and Nuthouse left. Fishkopf stuck in the Z area, and this is a really bad position for him to be in. He can't hold last, and he is known where he is, and he's falling down very weak right now.
Well, yeah, he's useless basically, and now it's 3 people hold for the Germans trying to hold last. Ali's committing somehow, but the Fishkopf in the backline almost got a fragment to Ombrack, but in the end he got cleaned up by the French soldier, and now Seeds, he knows he had a comfortable Uber ad, and they're gonna wait for that to push.
Ali might go down here to a trap. Oh, it's not going to pick off anyone. As we do see the heavy come out, and Korvac's going to go down very early. Honey falls down pretty weak. Stefan's going to go down, but they're stuck in this corner, and this is just perfect for Feint. They push them all the way back into the corner, and although they didn't get the pick straight away, eventually they do the damage to pick them off, and that's going to be 2-0.
And I feel like the biggest mistake, biggest flaw in the Germans' plan so far is how War is playing compared to his teammate. I feel like War is in one of these days where he want to play extremely aggressive, and either his team doesn't follow up or he's just jumping at the bad time, and this is hurting his team a lot. So I feel like this is really up to him to step up.
God, Ali's playing very aggressive on the beginning of this mid. Falls down to 30 HP. It's going to take up that pack, and we see a massive bomb there from Amarok. War's going to go down to a nice sticky from Ali. And Feint already have a massive advantage as we do see callback. He is behind in this connector, and he's going to be pushing pressure behind. He's going to get cleaned up by Josh as they try and push out, but Feint have got so much cap dying now, and Fishkoff does go down, and that's the third mid in a row. Actually, no, they lost the first mid. Second mid in a row to Feint Gaming.
Yeah, nice play here from Callback. We'll talk a bit later about what he does. But as I say that, Ali is leading his teammate into that yellow area. Oh, he drops Honey with 2 stickies, and this is really bad now for the Germans because Josh and Stefan getting cleaned up by the scouts. So this is a highway for Feint onto the second point, maybe even last. Oh, again, the scouts are being so aggressive. They clean up everyone. Nice combo play here from Sorax and Kunu, and maybe Nice Rocket is going to come onto Fishkop, but no, he just... That's pretty bad death, and so that's just like, yeah, Honey dropped, so that's really bad for Germans of course. But I want to mention what Korvac does on the middle. Instead of going deep onto the medic straight away, he does that skip jump and goes behind on the spam box, and that causes pretty much the 2 scouts to look for him in the backline, so Amara can jump in unscattered. You know, no one is shooting him, so I feel like the callback, what he does on middle, is really giving Feint such a big edge so far until now.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we do go into this mid, Ali's going to get pressured by Nuthouse really well, but Korvac and Amarok are both doing huge bombs onto the demo man now. War's going to fall down very weak onto the crate, but Seas goes down very early. Honey also gets picked up and War goes down. It's trading back and forth right now, but the picks are going in the way of the German team, and it's just Kunu left. He's going to be 1v1ing Nuthouse, but Nuthouse takes that, and the Germans are going to take the mid. And they did lose Honey, but they should be able to get second here as well. Much more of a convincing mid.
Yeah, exactly, and I was mentioning how Korvac was doing really well in the middle. I think on this one he changed things up, and that was not a good idea, I guess, because they lost the middle, and I feel like the Germans were not able to counter what he was doing until that last middle, so maybe that was not really good for him to change things. Josh dies in the backlines. Oh my god, how is everyone dying here?
Oh my god, I just wasn't expecting Feint. They're just that aggression. I think that's the other thing as well about Feint, is that people expect such a passive team, them just, they're 3 rounds up, they could have just easily held last there. But instead they just show aggression. I think it catches people off guard sometimes because they're expecting such a passive team. So it's really well played there, and a great focus fire from Feint, and they're going to capture middle here. And even though they've got a disadvantage, Honey looks like he's going to come in, there's crits out there. Honey's going to go down, but do get 2 picks, and they're going to cap mid, and the Uber is going to go severely in Seeds' way.
Bomb is coming from Fishkop, but he can't quite get Ali and out. Seeds are gonna take things really carefully. He almost had it, but Amarok is on the verge of dying, but nice arrow here from Seeds, saving his pocket from death. And now, knowing Feint, they want to go back in straight away. They're 6 up and they have no demo on the German team.
Yeah, they need to block this midpoint, otherwise it's going to be getting the forward spawns for the German team. Nuthouse is going to try and run behind, but he's going to get cleaned up by Korvac. And they didn't quite get that capture point. Stefan ran away to get to his medic, and Honey has no Uber whatsoever. So Feint rolling in with this 100% Uber advantage. Honey, a bit far too forward there. Feint, actually there's a sticky trap in the corner, but it's been spotted by Kunu. No drop there for War today. They do look like they're going to cast him. The Uber's actually going to come out. A lot of pressure onto War, but no picks as of yet. And you do see the scout denying Amarok from capping at the moment.
Oh, nice 5 here from War onto Honey, maybe delaying the push from the... Oh, and Seeds with an arrow gets Honey as well, so the combination worked here from both the players of the combo, Seeds and Ali getting the fragment to Honey. But Seeds kind of making up for his mistake, because when they pushed, he dropped Kunu, and maybe this is why the push fell for Feint.
Yeah, Amarok did so much work down the flank. He just delayed them from pushing out there. Like, War wanted to get aggressive, but Josh went down to Amarok in a trading, and he just delayed them. Kunu's going to get the cap here, but he will... sorry, Sorax goes down. As we do see the spawns from Feint coming forward now. They do have a hefty advantage, 30%. So they'll probably give the point up here and then look to take this aggressively on the left-hand side.
They should. It's half time already, and most confess, this is really not what I was expecting from Feint on this map. They're building way more aggressively than what I expected, and this is the testimony of that. Look at that Uber, taking it extremely deep, trying to get Warrior here, but doesn't quite die. Almost got arrowed by Honey, but cleaned up by Kunu. But that's not, they can't get much more than that, and now Honey's sitting on the 80% Uber ad, and the Germans as aggressive as ever, going in with Stefan and Josh cleaning up the combo and maybe taking it to middle. Callback tried to go for Honey, but this time it did not work.
Oh, and Sorix was trying to play for a back cap there, but he gets cleaned up on the flank by Fishkov. Yeah, a bit of this like discoordination there from Feint. I don't think they really needed to use that aggressively. They probably thought that Honey was closer to the point, but he was already by shutter, so it was so easy for him to back out. And now Honey is sitting with 100% Uber, and the roles have reversed, and it's going to be Feint defending their second with a hefty disadvantage.
And looks like the combo from the Germans trying to get their way through the spam box. Nobody's really spamming them. Ombrack tried to go in, but got cleaned in such a quick fashion, and now it should be an easy positioning here for the Germans. But Uber ad is growing thinner second after second, so now it's going to be kind of hard for the Germans to make use of that ad. But, I mean, they got 2 points out of it, so maybe this is the best that they could have hoped for.
Oh my god, and so much damage as well on the flank. Fishkov's going to go down, but Callback does get cleaned up, but he's delayed enough, and Honey's gone down very weak as well. A lot of players for the German team are very weak at the moment. Honey's sitting with Uber, but he's only healing War at the moment. Stefan is going to look to get into the Uber here. He goes down very weak. He's going to get flashed at right at the end, but the Uber is much better for Feint. There is no one in fear of the back cap at the moment, but it looks like Sorix is overextended a bit. The Germans are healing up really well here, and it's 5v5 at the moment. The capture point does go to Feint, but I think that they just need to stem the bleeding a bit, just reset on second and get control of all areas.
They basically, I think, need to play a bit more like Feint right now, because they're leading 3-0. They don't need to be that aggressive, and I mean, we're not going to blame them to play slow if they're winning. It's not really, like, that's understandable right now, and I feel like they're trying to play a bit too off of their comfort zone, if that makes sense, and I feel like they're playing a bit more into the ends of the Germans right now, and I think that would be good for them to, you know, slow things down, take a breather, and try to see what happens.
Yeah, one thing that I have to say when I used to play with Feint is that sometimes they can get, as the Uber actually came out from Honey, sorry, the Uber trade's gone down and Kunu went down. Josh is behind on last, but he should get cleaned up in due course, but the second capture point is going to come out for the Germans here. So amidst all of that craziness, the trade happened and it's favoured the Germans, and they're going to push through onto the right hand side. Callback's going to go down whilst waiting for an arrow, and they have a player disadvantage here. A lot of cap time going down the point, and that's going to be the round. What happened there?
Nice aggression here. I think they got a better trade, and in the end, I feel like again the trade happened, and Feint got a bit too aggressive. Like, they didn't clean Josh, who was behind, and the fact that Irish Soldier was behind completely ruined the plans of Ali and the rest of his teammates. So I feel like really they need to throw things down, because they're getting a bit rush of blood into the head right now, and they really need to take it easier.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, we'll go into this mid and then we'll talk about it afterwards, but I think Feint just need to, you know, calm down a bit and not play so much in the playstyle of their enemy. As Stefan gets traded, Callback goes down as well. Honey's gone down very weak onto the point, but there's so much aggression from the German team right now. They've actually switched sides right now. Ali's gone down very weak, and the scout of Nuthouse is causing a massive distraction. Josh has gone down very weak as well, but at the moment War's coming in, pumping in a lot of damage, and at the moment Seeds is going to get picked up from Nuthouse, and Feint is just all over the place right now. They're not coordinating at all.
Yeah, this is exactly it. They're not coordinated at all. Like, there's one player on the ramp, one player on the spam box. Nobody's really playing around Seeds. Like, the medic was running around in the middle trying to catch someone, and in the end, he was the one who got caught by Nuthouse. So yeah, you were gonna say something about how Feint used to play when you were with them.
Yeah, I mean, so when I used to play with them, there was a problem that we had, which is against very aggressive teams, certain players on the team would get like sucked into that sort of playstyle, and instead of playing like the playstyle that would counter that, which is just absorb their aggression and then, you know, wait for them to stack into you and then push forward, sometimes there was a problem where they would just try and counter that aggression, and obviously it's not the comfort zone, as you said, and so it didn't work. And this is usually happened when you, like, a few rounds lead, because people got a bit too cocky. Really need to just be cautious about, as we do see Honey with massive advantage now. Callback's going to get a lot of rockets, and he's going to force the Uber, but the Uber's coming out. It's not done much. Callback is going to go down, and Ombrack's fallen very weak. Sentry gun also goes down, and there's a lot of cap time put by Stefan. Fishkov's going to jump on top of the point, and War's also going to jump onto Seas. They're going to try and pick him off. He goes down, and now it is only inevitable that the Germans are going to pick this off. They just need to heal up, but the scouts are up for Feint still.
Yeah, and looks like they can't really take it anymore, so Honey wisely decides to back off. But what you mentioned about getting carried away, don't you think it's about inexperience? I feel like on this team, Amarok never played Prem, Koff never played Prem, Seeds barely played Prem, so I feel like their issue right now is trying to stay composed, and their lack of experience might be the things hurting them right now.
Yeah, I think the comms, when they start winning as well, get a bit more cluttered and a bit more hyped, and I think when they've lost that one round there, they just need to like calm down and think, okay, this is not going to be a roll game. We just need to like stem the bleeding. If they slow down the pace of this game, it can be easily quite comfortable for them still, but they just need to do that and not get sucked in. As we do see Honey coming in with his Uber advantage once again. The gun should go down very quickly there. Was going to take it down, but Seeds is much closer to his Uber this time, and Nuthouse gets put down on the flank. And
the good flank is coming from Josh as well, but it looks like Sorax and Kunu did so much work at denying the aggression in the Uber, so a really nice play here. It feels like they figure out the push from the Germans, and both Ombrack and Ombrack, they stayed on top when the Uber was used, so they could deny Nuthouse and Josh. And maybe this was the saving grace for them. So it looks like they identify the weakness of that push, and this is the sign that maybe they got some composure back, and now they're back in business to way of saying things. And now Siege is leading his team into middle with a 70% barrage.
One thing I have noticed as well since this team has formed together, Sorax was renowned for being a massive, pass the brain, always holding W, but something I've seen more recently is he's played a lot more around Seeds and just the medic in general. He's a lot more passive, he's a lot more conservative, and actually there's quite a few games where he has less deaths than Kunu himself as pocket scout. So I think that sort of playstyle change has really worked for Sorax, and he's really starting to shine on this team.
And clever play here from the Germans. They decided to back off until they got Ubered, so it didn't take a necessary fight. So it looks like both teams trying to, play a bit smarter than what they have done so far, and I like it. Like try to tone down the aggression and try to do different things to see what's working and what's not working.
Absolutely. So we're gonna see at the moment both teams just setting up and gonna heal up and see what they can do. War's trying to get a bit aggressive. Now at the moment there's no aggression presence from Feint, but I think they're going to take two soldiers onto the flank, as are the Germans actually as well. The soldier's going to get launched up, Fishkov's going to go very well, and oh my god, air shot there from Amarok, and War's going to go down in the background of the fight as well. And that's two picks straight away for Feint, and Honey should not be using his Uber here. They should back off well to last, and Feint taking second here for free with both Ubers still standing.
So that should be a hold, but Ali doesn't want to wait for respawners. He's already leading his team into last on the right door. They get Josh, so Honey's dropping already Spark. It's not really good here. He's not flashing anyone like Uber, so Siege doesn't even have to use. This isn't really good. Oh, yeah. Ali dies here, and Siege was the one dropping his player now, so it should be a bit better for Feint, but no. They should back out, and like both medics dropping one after the other could have meant to really doom for them, but in the end, I feel like both the mistakes kind of even things out, and now it's going to be a reset. Maybe the Germans can even take the second
tried to just hold that Uber, but a nice big shot there from Nuthouse onto Seeds, and then onto Alien, dropping him. Basically made Seeds pop because he didn't want to drop anyone else, and he was already pretty weak. So really well played there from Nuthouse, a good salvage there from a terrible Uber from the Germans, to be honest. As Fishkov's going to go down very low, he's going to get chased up by Sorax. So that's one pick on the flank there, and Josh is going to have to cover the flank now. So a bit more pressure from Feint now on the left-hand side, and Josh might get picked off here as well. He does pick off Amarok, and Corvet's going to go down to a nice sticky trap from War. So both teams have lost both their soldiers.
It's kind of funny, both teams doing exactly the same things, like Honey dropping a player, then Siege dropping a player, both soldiers dying onto one team, then two soldiers dying on the other team, and now again they're doing exactly the same thing, training Uber, trying to see what they can do with this. But it looks like Ali can't really do much with that unless they can get a nice track, but War is surely gonna shut things down. Yeah, he's even picking a bit aggressively. I don't know if you should do that, but in the end they're losing two rounds down now, and they are only 5 minutes left, so they need to make something happen now if they want to have a chance of going back, and they know about this. They're putting a lot of pressure onto Ali, and that's enough pressure to take the yard back, so this is almost a capture point in itself. And now they have a bit more room to work with, but still, it's only 4 minutes 30 seconds, and they really, if they want to win the map, I'm not even talking about tying, but winning the map, there's still time to do that, but they really need to get things going quickly.
Yeah, and this is where Feint are really going to show like that playstyle is really going to prove dividends, because they know how to absorb this pressure. As War's actually going to peek onto Seeds. Seeds is going to go very low, but doesn't catch any of those pipes, and good dodging there. War does get out, but it looks like the Germans team are going to have to take this forward if they want to. But Feint actually really aggressive, and both soldiers, I don't know why they would need to do that. They're 2 rounds up with 4 minutes left. Both soldiers sacking in there. Really strange decision. An Uber trade should be alright here for Feint because their soldiers will spawn in due course, but Honey's going to be very passive and the Uber's going to be much better for the Germans, and Ali's going to have to jump out here. Kuno will do well to survive, and that's the mid-fight done as well. So at the moment, the Germans are just slowly and steadily taking progress on this map.
It looks like Feint has some case of official fear or something, or official stutter. I don't know really how to call that, but it looks like they're not playing as well as they are playing in scrims. You know what that feeling when you know it's official and there's much more at stake, so you kind of do some missteps. I think this is what's happening now, but Ali is taking a fight with the Warrior, almost takes him down, and the Fishkop died in the flank. Ali, Warrior bombs in, almost get 2 pipes onto Seeds, but can't quite get the frag, and now it should be really bad for the Germans. They lost 3 players, and now Feint 4th one now. Sorex 7 kill streak. I mean, that man looks like he's on a pretty good phase right now. Good momentum for the Italian scout.
Yeah, and this obviously bodes well going into the second map, which is going to be Viaduct as well. If your scouts are playing well, then boys are going to be tough for the German team to be able to pressure here. Feint should honestly just sit back here, and the Uber's going to come out. Stefan's going to pick off Ali before the Uber comes out from Seeds, but Seeds hasn't used it yet. He's just absorbing this pressure, and the counter Uber is going to go straight in with 2 scouts. Honey's actually going to go behind with Fishkov, and he's going to go down almost straight away. Josh actually going to pick off, and Honey's linked off with his scout. He does eventually go down. Stefan also shooting both scouts here, and War's going to jump in as well. This is a very chaotic fight now, and Seeds is just backing off at the moment. He's going to get pressured by the scouts, and Ali is alone on the point now versus 2 scouts. Let's see if he can clutch this out.
He doesn't.
He's going to go down.
Oh, this is bad. Clock is ticking, Samski. 2 minutes now for the Germans to take 2 rounds, and it's looking a bit unlikely right now, even though, I mean, they still need to get 2 points on this one to get a round. They don't have Uber, no ad. Honey has the crits though, so he knows they have some, I mean, how do you say that? Like, they need to make things happen quickly, because otherwise they can't get that map, and the crits is probably the best answer to that problem.
Yeah, and we do see the forward sniper, but what I don't agree with the fact is that there's no sentry being built right now, and they're going to try and contest second. I guess they're trying to delay for the fact that if they lose this round, there's not going to be enough time for the next round. So they're doing a pretty good job now, but Josh is going to come up top with the crits right now. It's going to get popped off, and he's going to get callback, but at the same time, Seeds is already backed the hell off. And this crits is not going to do anything. If it isn't for this amazing Crockett, nothing's going to happen there. Fishkov is going to bomb onto the medic, and Josh is going to try and follow up, but he gets completely denied. And that looks like, unless there's an amazing play from the spy of Stefan, Nathouse is also hiding on the right-hand side. He might be going for a back cap here, but they're expecting that. Just Stefan alive on spy, and that looks like it's going to be game.
Yeah, that should be it now. I don't think there's even enough time to get around now and get another one after that. So 40 seconds, looks like Feint is getting this. Yeah, they get Stefan on Ska, but that was pretty much what we expected, Samski. Like, yeah, it's a win for Feint, but at some point I felt like there was some sweat on the side of Feint.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it during the game, like they were comfortably 3-0 up, and they kind of just got sucked into that playstyle, the chaoticness that the Germans brought along. So we do see it is dead time now. The Uber's going to come out, War's going to go down one final time. It's log hunting now, and Kunu picks up Honey. But yeah, going into the second map, out of the performance that you've seen from this map, do you think that it's going to be any different? Feint have renownedly been quite strong at Viaduct. Obviously, most notably, like beating Seven quite convincingly throughout last season, and Seven like banning it against them at LAN, and them also showing a good time against Frotech at LAN as well. So obviously, with that sort of mindset, surely they are going to be quite confident going against this team in the next map.
Yeah, they should be, and I think logs will give us a good idea what we can expect on that second map. So let's check what happens. Let's check numbers and stats on that granary game. That Feint took 3-1, so pretty much what we expected, and looks like Ali got the better end of that Demoman head-to-head. I mean, 21 for 11 for Ale, while Huye went 17 to 22. I mean, you don't want to have your demo man dying that much. And we mentioned there at the start of the game, like midway through the game, how Wall was being extremely aggressive compared to the rest of his teammates, and how that was maybe detrimental. And I feel like this is the embodiment of that, like him dying this much on Granary, where Demon Man can have like has a really important role at denying the chokes. I feel like he didn't do that as much on the second half of the game, but yeah, Wall needs to tone things down a bit because I think, yeah, he has a lot of damage on this map. But let's be honest, like 10k, it's pretty good, but I feel like that's a bit detrimental to the more like stability and defensive cohesion of his team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's, to be honest, if you're looking at the logs, it's an all-round massive performance from Feint. There's no real player there that's done like poorly. I mean, obviously you've got Ombrack. He hasn't got a lot of kills, but he's got 16 assists, which just show obviously his scouts around him cleaning up. Sorex with 36 frag and 260 DPM on a, like, obviously not a really scout friendly map apart from the mid fights, and Callback doing a lot of damage as well. Both soldiers, to be honest, like massively out damaging their counterparts. So I think just all around, it was a whole great team performance from Feint. I think the only reason why that wasn't like a 5-0 or 6-1 was just because after that 3-0 and they lost that round, and it kind of just stopped them in their tracks, and they kind of fell off that momentum. But other than that, it was just really strong from them. And I think that they're going to be very confident going into this map. Obviously, I think that they've moved away from infamously. They had Kunu. I say infamously because everyone hated him doing it. Kunu playing sniper on product because he's an amazing sniper. But I think they've moved away from that for now. And they much prefer just running the cookie clutter classes. But obviously, they've got that in the back pocket as well. Whereas the Germans won't have that sort of, you know, flexibility. So again, I think that it's going to be the same sort of thing. We're going to see great coordination from the Feint soldiers, and Sorex and Kunu just absolutely pounding on this map.
Well, especially when you take into account that Sorex looks like he's in his day. He's hitting everything apparently. I mean, 36 frags, pretty impressive on Granary. So I believe Feint has all the reasons in the world to go into that map really feeling really good about how it could go. You mentioned how Feint played well as a whole. Like, if there's one thing maybe to highlight for them, something to work on, maybe is Seeds dropping Ali quite some time in the Uber. So maybe you don't really want that to happen on product because Ali is really good at, like, this is I think he's really good on this map. This is probably one of the best maps for Ali. So I feel like Seeds needs to be a bit more careful about this. But other than that, yeah, I feel like they should have this in the bag if they play like they did around Sorex and Kunu. And I think, I don't know what you think about that, but Josh and Fishkop, they are gonna have a tough game on their hands.
I think the main reason for that as well, in my personal opinion, is that Josh and Fishkoff are both pockets at heart, whereas Ombrack and Callback are both roamers at heart. And this map suits a lot more soldiers that are comfortable playing without heals, just bombing in, doing a lot of damage and distractions, but also not caring about their lives so much. I think that's not something that's going to be, you know, dug into the mindset of Fishkoff and Josh. I think they're going to really struggle on this map. And I think also just how Feint's scouts are playing, they're going to be shut down like super hard whenever they bomb, especially if they do the most predictable bombs, you know, from top right or the wall jump as well. So I think this is going to be, I'm going to say it's going to be a 3-0 for Feint. I think there might be one or two close rounds, but I think it's just going to be 3-0.
Yeah, I want to say 3 as well. So let's see how it goes on the first middle. No scouts, no sniper. You mentioned Cookie Cutter's lineup, so yeah, this is the we're gonna try to do our best to tell what's happening on middle. Warrior dies right away from the bomb from Korvac, and even though the French Roma dies, this is looking pretty good maybe for Fame, but it looks like they're being extremely passive right now. Both Neuhaus and Stefan doing such a good work of pulling them back into their own cliff side, and Seeds almost was really weak here. Well, he got lucky to get the pack here, I think, and in the end, that's the first middle for the Germans. Even the War dies extremely early, so nice rebound play here for Stefan and Neuhaus giving their team the first middle. And but now Honey has a slight Uber ad, and I doubt they know about this and even want to use it.
Yeah, Fishkoff went behind on that first mid, which really pulled back the Feint players. They were so cautious about it. Ali's going to go down there. It's a nice aggression from Neuhaus once again. And the Germans looking really comfortable on this map at the moment. Amok is going to go behind and try and distract, but he's versus two soldiers who have both taken buffs. And Fishkoff's going to pick him up, and so far so good from the German team, surprisingly.
Yeah, almost already a minute on the timer for the Germans. Korvac getting caught off guard on the flank as well. So this is actually looking pretty bad. Look at Warrior just bracing W, trying to get more as much damage as he can. He's doing a pretty good job at it, to say the least. And looks like Feng, they're not happy about their performance so far. So look at Kuhn, who's already on the sniper rifle.
Yeah, and we said it before, I wasn't expecting it to be coming out so soon, as Fishkoff's going to get aggressive onto the balcony, trying to get onto the sniper. He hasn't actually been called yet. He's going to get a lot of damage onto Kunu, and he's going to go down, and he's going to get out as well. Feint need to start focusing these players going behind, otherwise this is going to be a massive problem. As the trade does come out, and it's actually a much better use from Feint. So all while that was happening, a lot of people going down for both teams. A lot of damage on the flank, but Korvac's going to go down. And at the moment, it's just both teams doing damage, but not really getting any picks or anywhere. War's trying to get aggressive here, but Kunu is back on the field on sniper, and he's going to...
And he already gets one full body shot onto War. He had bombing soldiers coming from Fishkoff and Josh, but Kunu survives it somehow. The flank is coming as well for Neuhaus. He gets Seeds with the last bullet of his Caragan, and if the single drop of his life, he gets the frag onto Seeds. That was a clutch play here for the Finnish scout, and I was about to say this is pretty good for Feint now because they have the point and they have a sniper, but that play from Neuhaus completely...
Korvac jumping in onto Honey, he's going to get one rocket onto him, and he drops him! Oh my god, massive play there, nice bait there from Amarok, and Korvac just jumps from the hut. I wasn't expecting him to drop Honey there, thought he would pop there, thought Honey was round the corner, but he wasn't, and Feint have an opportunity here to go in forward hold, but obviously they do only have one scout and they have a sniper in play, so probably not as strong as we're going to see the German team rolling at main. Kunu's going to have a sight line onto the medic, but he's going to get pressured back.
Yeah, and pressure's coming as well from Wahoo. Yeah, onto the combo. Josh dying from Amarok, but this is maybe not enough. Again, Neuhaus from the backlines getting onto Seeds and getting the frag onto the medic. So this is twice now that the Finnish guy managed to succeed in such an operation. And it looks like maybe having only one scout, like I was about to say, it's interesting to see that they're running both Amarok and Korvac on Soldier despite having a sniper. And I feel like having only one scout here is a bit detrimental to how they secure the backlines, because this is twice now that Neuhaus has been able to flank and sneak his way in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how Feint usually play now, but when I played on the team and Kunu was sniping, I used to play like the pocket scout, or obviously both scouts play around him, but I don't know how they've thought about that now. Obviously, if Sorex is the only scout, then he really needs to be playing around Seeds. As the Uber does get forced out from Honey, and they are going to capture the point, but Josh is going to get picked up here, surely, by Amrock. He does go down, really overextending there for the Seeds pick. As we do see Kunu back on the scout, so probably just more content just to keep his medic alive now, as though they do have a massive Uber advantage.
Yeah, all they need now is to trade cap. If they trade the middle all the time, they're just gonna end up winning. So having two scouts is obviously better than having only one and two soldiers and one sniper. So I like the decision making here from Carl. And Seeds having the Uber, Honey not quite there yet, only 70%, but it looks like they don't really care about this. Trying to go for the cross. That's a questionable player. Why would Honey be so close is if Seeds has the Uber. I want to believe there's been some kind of misread of the situation here for the Germans, because you really don't want to have your medic in the range of the enemy team when the same enemy team has the Uber. And Seeds didn't die after Uber, so now this is looking kind of bleak for the Germans, that they really need to clutch if they want to make their way out on that first round.
Yeah, I mean, they've got 12 seconds left, so Seeds could even back off, give them the point here, and then just Uber back into them. So Germans going to be having to get Seeds here to go down and capture the point at the same time. They are going to give up the point, but Ali looks like he wants to pressure it. He's going to pick off in that house as well. We see both soldiers pressuring the flank really hard, but both of them are so weak. 15 HP and 5 HP, and Ali goes down, but everyone is so weak on the German team. They should just give up this point and let Seeds have the Uber, but the Uber does come out there. Honey needs to survive, but he's going to get chased down by the 1-2 punch of Feint in the scouts. And now it is just cleaning up, and there wasn't enough cap time for the Germans, and that's rounds.
They almost went really south for Feint, because Seeds caught a pipe and a roller, and he went down to, I think, less than 10 HP. So if he had died here, it would have been really bad for Feint. And but in the end, they got a bit lucky and they take the first round. And again, that was kind of close. Like I feel like Feint needs to step up if they want to honor their reputation.
Yeah, I think the second half of that round though was a lot more in in what Feint are used to. They have lost their place on the flank. Josh is going to just walk through here. Honey's going to go down to a nice bomb there from Korvac, and at the moment the hills are straight back there. Sorix protecting and getting Seeds out. So yeah, they gave up the connector really early because of an aggressive duo bomb there from the soldiers. But at the same time, then Josh just walked through connector and just cleaned off Ali. And so I guess that's what you get for giving up connector. But they should look like they're going to get the point back, and obviously they have a massive Uber advantage now.
Yeah, that's what Seeds is really good at, surviving. Sometimes he even baits his team, and he could stay in to help them take the win. But this time there was a proper play. The crazy bomb coming to Hemischkopf. And Wahoo taking Seeds really weak, and the drops is coming from the last sticky of Wahoo. Seeds trying to milk it too much, and maybe a bit of too much trust into his teammates. So in the end, that's a drop, and Honey is just building in his pawn. So now he's gonna have the Uber ad, and it's gonna up to the German to come back with that Uber, maybe trying to.
Yeah, but he's on crits. Yeah, he's on crits. I think that was actually a really poor mistake from the Feint scouts there. Both of them chased the first soldier of the bombs, and he wasn't even the one that was pressuring Seed. He just jumped around as a distraction. Both of them took the bait, and then a lot of damage there from Fishkoff, and then cleaned up by War. As we do see the crit streak, so look to see a lot of aggression. Once War uses it, he's getting in position. He's trying to charge his stick. As the crit stick he comes out, he's going to pick off Kunu, and Feint Ali is going to be stuck in the corner as well. A lot of damage done onto Honey. But, oh, unlucky there.
Kinda almost, I don't want to say beefed, because if you had one more second you would have killed Honey, but I think 3 rockets for a soldier of his caliber is a bit too much to kill a medic in this position. So I think for having played with him for so long, I want to say beefed because I'm allowed. But that was almost good. Honey didn't die, so he's still sitting on that crit, but now Seed's gonna have a Uber of his own, and he's gonna be invincible in this one, so it's gonna be hard for Honey to do anything.
Yeah, and strange decision there from Amarok to bomb forwards onto the medic when they have a 100% ad against crits. Ali's going to get picked off here from a nice W play there from Nighthouse, and he's actually got a nice meat shot there onto Kunu. It's going to go down with the help of Sorix. But now we're going to see it's going to be Kritzkrieg versus Uber, and Seeds knows about this. They're going to go in with the Uber straight into the medic, but the medic's already out here. War might get picked off here from some nice aggression. They're going to go and get an arrow actually. War's going to survive. Korvac's going to stand right by spawn. He's going to get out, but it's still 100% crits for Honey. So they've got a lot of time down on the clock, but they've still got that Ubrad.
Yeah, trying to make their way onto the left-hand side, and I feel like we mentioned that on the first map, but Sid is dropping Ali quite a lot in that Uber, in these Ubers. He's now using on him, and I feel like there's some miscommunication going. And this is maybe because Ali wasn't playing the first time, but look at War. He's trying to get that Uber, that crit going, but Ali wasn't.
Oh
he was completely
God.
disrespecting the combo here from the Germans and completely demolished them while they were trying to go in. And it's a complete ace, 6-0 for Feint, killing everyone now holding forwards. And this is really bad for the self-confidence of the German.
Yeah, Nighthouse is going to try and bust through here on the flank. He's actually going to do a lot of damage there to Kunu and Ali. He's actually going to get onto Ali. He's going to go down as well. Nighthouse is actually really doing well at the moment, and he's got Ali's number at the moment. He's picking him off time and time again. And that's going to be 2 picks there, and that's a failed forward hold. There is 100% ad for Seeds, and he should go forward with this Uber. He's going to take, and he's going to drop Kunu as well. Terrible Uber right now. Stefan is going to go down, but that's really not enough, and Honey's going to back off into spawn. Seeds is going to go down from a flank from Fishkoff, and Seeds really needs to work on making sure that his players aren't dying before using.
Yeah, I don't know who's to blame here, because of course we're seeing Seeds. Oh, Ombrack went in Honey and dropped him, I think. So a nice salvage play here from the French Roma, and Ali is stuck in the backlines. But yeah, I feel like there's some miscommunication going here on the combo Feint, and this is maybe because Ali wasn't able to play for a long time, so maybe they lost a bit of that chemistry that they had before. But yeah, you mentioned there's a lot of problem going on right now with Seeds and the rest of his teammates, so they need to work on that map now, because they only have 6 seconds before they win this, but it looks like the Germans have a second runner here. They're being so aggressive over the point. They got 2-3 now with a nice play here from Stefan, and Feint is slowly falling apart.
Yeah, and the Germans actually looking to forward hold here. So Ombrack's going to go down very weak onto the right-hand side. There is an Uber ad for Seeds here, and I don't know if Honey knows about it. He's positioning himself relatively forward. Josh is going to go down as well, so that's the key for the Germans to back off. War's going to maybe actually get caught out here. He's going to jump away, actually. And as you said, all that Feint really need to do now is capture the point, and they have this Uber advantage. Honey's going to get jumped by Ali here, and War's going to go down very low as well, but he's actually going to get picked off, and Scout as well is going to go down very weak. He's going to get picked off, and it's 3 seconds left on the point, and the Germans need to bomb the point straight away. And Fishkoff fails his jump. Oh dear. I think that he wouldn't have got there in time anyway, but you know, it doesn't help. And again, a really close round from Feint. Sorry, from the Germans, but Feint take it. Yeah, as you said, I don't think it's Seed's fault particularly there. I think that the scouts went forward before him really knowing. It was like, okay, let's go, and Seeds was already on the back foot, and obviously the scouts run faster. But yeah, they really need to like try and work on that cohesion for those Ubers.
Bomb is coming here for Ombrack, but even before he arrives, he's already dead because of Ali walking over the point. And now everybody's kind of weak onto the Germans, so it's battle of attrition now. The scouts shooting at each other. Sorax and Kuno were looking for someone that just shot themselves, so it was funny to watch. But in the end, no self-damage, of course, and it should be a middle point. Sorax, the mid-grinder, just gets all the frag here without any kind of heals. Can he get his former teammates? Yeah, he does. He gets Josh with a nice pistol shot. And what a play here for Sorax. I feel like he's really feeling it right now.
Yeah, and because of those late deaths as well, Feint have the opportunity to forward hold. Nighthouse is going to bust through, but Fishkoff went down already. Actually, he's going to create some space here, and some of the Feint players are really weak. But oh my god, that doesn't matter for Sorax. He just walks straight into Stefan and two-shots him. Nighthouse also getting picked off from a sticky trap from Ali. Sorax is really feeling it, man. He's just hitting everything that he wants to hit right now.
Yeah, and this is why it's getting really hard for the German now. They're 2-0 down already, and they need to take this round, otherwise this is over for them tonight. But the bomb's coming from Fishkoff. He gets Ali as well with the help of Josh taking away some of the attention to himself. But Seeds has a really small Uber at 20%. Do they want to take this in? It doesn't look like it. Seeds is, or maybe they think the Uber ad is bigger than what it really is. Josh saying on the backline, the double is coming. Ubers are being traded. And this is not really good for the Germans, because they lost 2 in that trade, and no soldiers here to spam the scouts for Feint. And this is a bit bleak for Warhu, yeah, but nice play here with the help of Stefan.
Oh my god,
Ombrack cleaning everyone. Really nice play here from the French soldiers.
That was sick. That was so good from the soldiers. They just bombed both from the right. Absolutely farmed the German team there. And one thing I was going to point out is every single Uber that I've seen on this map so far from the Germans has never included a scout leading it. It's always War leading it, and I really think that's costing them. They're not getting into the faces of Feint straight away, and they're just that much slower, and so Seeds is always almost having a much better Uber.
And this is maybe, I'm not sure, but I think Enable is playing pocket scouts, so now that Nuthouse is kind of feeling for that role, maybe this is why they're lacking that cohesion and never having a scout in that Uber. Now the Uber is being used by Seeds, and only 3 players up for Germans, Honey and the 2 scouts, and this is slow. Clock is slowly ticking down for the German. 1 minute 30 before this is over. And even though Honey has the Uber ad, they really need a scout. You mentioned that they need a scout in that Uber to make it count.
Yeah, and Caesar's already positioning himself by main, getting ready to be able to back off here. The Uber is looking like he's going to take it forward. Honey's going to get bombed, actually. Nice bomb there from Ombrack. He's going to get 2 rockets onto the medic. War's going to jump onto Seeds, but his dodging is supreme. Seeds surviving on 59 HP. And War's going to get picked off. Josh is going to get picked off. Ombrack goes down, but Honey's going to get cleaned off by the flank by Sorax right there. And this is the moment now, right now. Nighthouse is onto the medic. He's going to clean up Seed. He does it time and time again. And even though Feint should win this fight, Seed's gone down once again to Nighthouse.
Yeah, but because of how the respawn time works, this is not really hurting Feint too much because now the Ubers are even. So yes, they would have an Uber ad, but Seed spawn at the same time as Honey, so now the Ubers are the same. The aggression is coming from Ombrack and Ombrack. Sorax dying to sticky off Wahoo here, and looks like the German don't want to take.
Sorry, Ombrack nearly got onto Honey there. So it was such a great bomb from such low HP. But it didn't work out effectively, and they're going to capture this point.
So yeah, 1 minute 15 now for the Germans against 50 seconds of Feint. But Wahoo yet dying, training for the other demo man. And look at that aggression from the Germans. Seems getting caught off guard. You really don't want to see that happen.
Oh. And, look out for Ombrack. Ombrack's in connector now. He's going to be bombing straight onto the medic right now. He's going to get one nice one. Oh my god, destroys Honey there. Lands right on his head. And Honey is not going to be able to surf away from that one.
Yeah, this is what I mentioned earlier. Ombrack shouldn't need 3 rockets to kill a medic, and he just showed right now that 2 is more than enough for him to clean up the medic here. And this is actually really helping his team because now Seeds has a 40 Uber ad. They're capping the point because there's no heals for the German side, and now this is going to be really tough for the German to make it back into that game. They really need a clutch moment here. Maybe Nerdhouse once stepping up and showing off his biceps, but it looks like Ali doesn't really want to give up the position.
Yeah, and it looks like the Germans are going to get really aggressive here. Seeds almost got that Uber, so they're more than happy to give up the point. Josh and Ombrack are going to trade on the flank, and Kunu actually doesn't want to give up this point, showing some great presence onto the point. The point is going to go down, but look at Ombrack. Ombrack is behind War. He's going to get a nice rocket, and he's actually in a position here to cut off Honey. Honey's going to get chased by Sorax, actually. Sorax running into spawn, and if he cleans off Honey here, that could be game. He is going to pick him off, and it's just Fishcroft left on the side here. Sorax just destroying them in spawn, and Josh is going to go down weak as well. Nice aggression there from Kunu as well, and they're going to cap off this point, and there's only 20 seconds left, and Seeds once again has Uber advantage.
That play was so well made, so aggressive. Sorax just chased onto that spawn, so really well made here, really well played. And now it's 10 seconds, 5 seconds even. Wahoo is trying to jump in, trying to get things happen, but gets cleaned up by Ombrack. And now everybody from the German trying to go in, but they're just dying one after the other. Everybody's weak. It's only Honey. Can he do it? I doubt it. It dropped. It dies, I mean. And this is it. This is the round, the third round for Feint. Feint Network taking that second map 3-0. That was in the end. Kinda they had some issues at some point, but in the end that's a clean 3-0 for Feint against that liest is doof. And yeah, that's a 6-0 for Feint in the end. They got their moments where they weren't really in that game, but in the end that's 6 points, so this is pretty much all they could have wished for.
Yeah, and we talked about the fact that they haven't had Ali that much. He had really poor internet in his new place, so he didn't be able to get really that much scrim time with his team before the season. And then obviously he's had problems with just being able to have to move back into a place where he does have internet. So he's been here and there about. So I guess we were talking about it before. He's personally going to be a bit rusty, and also the cohesion itself is going to be a bit rusty. Obviously playing with a different demo man. They play with Gink on the first official, and they also played with Demul, I think, this week at one point as well. So it's not going to help, obviously, playing with a different demo man, especially when Ali's their main caller. But really, really solid from Feint. And I think also, in my opinion, that map wouldn't have been as close if it wasn't for the fact that Nighthouse made so many plays onto Seeds during those messy fights.
Correct. But let's take it to logs to see who actually performed. You mentioned Nerdhouse, but before I even take a look at this, I think Sorax once more just completely outshined everyone. And
oh
he
my
did.
god!
He did.
400 DPM from Sorax, 25-8. I mean, to be honest, again, it's except Kunu damage-wise, I think across the board from Feint, it's just a huge performance. You have both soldiers doing 328 DPM, both exactly almost the same thing, and they were consistently doing so much work with their coordinated bombs. Ombrack as well, 21-10, not really a pocket soldier sort of map, but he got a lot of kills there and a great KD, and Ali as well, 387 DPM as well. So just all of the players coordinating there so well, and I think one thing you've got to pick up as well is that Korvac, even though he didn't like have a positive KD, he got the medic 6 times. So like he got so many picks on Honey, and we saw that when they coordinated together, the soldiers from Feint picking off Honey time and time again, which really, in Violix is important because obviously you're counting down the time. You can't play it slow. If your medic's dead, the time's just going to go down every time you're waiting for your med to give you heals.
True. Even though he beefed at some point on Honey, I feel like Korvac had a especially on product, which is really could get really harsh onto the soldiers. I feel like both him and Amarok, they had their moments where when they managed to sink their bomb, it was completely stellar, and that was pretty good. But yeah, I don't like. Is it the Germans who underperformed? I don't think so. I feel like they were just not up to the task of defeating Feint on that map. I don't think any one of them played bad, but they didn't really play good either. It was just they met their match, I think.
Yeah, no, I think, and I mean, we looked at the logs as well. I mean, we talked about it slightly before the game. Obviously, we said about Feint's soldiers on that map, but you also got to look at the German soldiers, obviously just having a lot less impact with their bombs. And you could say that it's the fact that, Sorix has gone 25-8, so he's denying them a lot more, or the fact that Seeds died a lot less than Honey. But I think if it wasn't for the plays of Nighthouse, I think he got Seeds like 4 times, which is over half of Seeds' deaths. The soldiers really not having that much impact. You'd expect that the soldiers' bombs would be picking up a lot of med and demo picks, but it just really wasn't happening that much. And I think that was like one of the things you saw time and time again, the fights being really, really close. And then you'd see the aggression from Feint soldiers, and they would just clean the house. We saw it time and time again. Korvac and Amarok just linking up, getting 2 or 3 kills each. And, when that's happening on Viaduct, you just so much confidence from playing that aggressive playstyle.
Yeah, as I see some people on the interview channel that Gemm is surely going to bring in, we are joined by both of them. They won tonight. We're joined by Ali and Kunu. Welcome, guys. I mean, good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
So I want to say, I want to ask. So you won 6-0. I think Kunu, this is the first time you taking 6 points in the Prem official. But I don't think you won 3-1 product. You won 3-1 on Granary. I want to say the game were as bright as they look. Am I wrong when I say that?
I think overall as a team it was very bright. Yes, me personally was quite poor, and I'm a bit upset about it. But overall as a team we played very, very well, and I'm very happy with it.
I'm personally very proud of Kunu. I just want to say that I do not believe his perspective is valid.
Fair enough. So let's. I don't know if you have any specific map specific questions, Samski.
No, not particularly. I guess it's just for both maps. I was just going to ask. Do you think we were discussing it during the games? There seemed to be a couple of times, especially on product, where Seeds would the Ubers would go forward, and Seeds would be a bit delayed on linking up to the people that wanted Uber, which resulted in Ali or Kunu being dropped. And we saw it a couple of times in Granary as well. Do you think it's just the fact that you guys have been in a difficult situation pre-season, that you haven't been able to scrim with Ali that much, that there's a bit of cohesion just lost in the combo, or is it just something that your guys are going to work on as the season continues?
I think it's just I think we have really good cohesion. I think we still have a few mistakes that are visible from a spectator standpoint, and that we still need to work out. But overall, I think we're pretty coordinated.
I feel
it's more like a team cohesion thing where sometimes we overcommit individually, and we're too hyped and overextend and shit. Yeah, I don't know.
That was a lot of my problem today. I was getting a bit overexcited with the situation, and then I'd go too far forward, and then die, and then our combo would become a bit of a mess. Just Seeds wouldn't have anyone to run it on, and then he'd get caught, and then I get caught, and then... But usually, it's a lot better than that. So, I think our cohesion is very good.
Definitely. Any more questions, guys?
Kunu, where was the sniper? We wanted to see more sniper.
Not necessary. Not necessary.
Okay. Okay. So are you saying you're keeping it for next week?
Yes. I'm gonna save my skill for Credu.
Because I think you're
Credu on
facing
Canopy.
a well-known sniper as in Credu, so I wanna believe there's gonna be a sick head-to-head.
Man, he's been my fanboy for over a year now. He's my bitch. I'm gonna get him. That's fine.
Okay, you heard it first. A big call out here, Credu. Please fear. But yeah, let's go to next week. You're playing Ascent, and I think many people expect this to be a pretty good game, a pretty close one. Like I've seen some logs of you guys playing against them. It looks like it's been really back and forth against Ascent. How do you weigh your chances against them?
It's gonna be a first round KO.
Okay, well,
I mean, I would say that Product's like renowned for you guys being really strong, and obviously looking at the logs in recent times, you guys have kind of traded maps, but it's always been like 3-2 for the most part, at least. But obviously the second map is Gullywash, which just using my insider knowledge of this team isn't like the strongest of maps for you guys usually.
Yeah.
And obviously you've got people on the other team who it is their strongest map. You've got Ams and Credu on Scout, and you obviously got Drac and Salentes who are pretty comfortable on that map as well. So do you have a game plan specific for that team going into next week, or are you just going to see how it goes in this week's scrims?
I don't know if we have any specific strategies, but it's definitely gonna be hard, a hard game. We need to focus really hard, so maybe just like that's what we focus on, is just trying to, I don't know, just staying focused.
Yeah,
like, classic.
As long as Ali doesn't go off to any more concerts during the week, we'll be fine.
I can sub them. It's fine.
No.
Okay, and do you think that like these games? So you've got an important game next week, as we said, and obviously I don't know what maps you're playing against on 7, but actually it's the following week, isn't it? So it'll be Gullywash and Snakewater. Snakewater, obviously, you guys are renowned for taking off 7 at LAN, but do you think that these maps during the season, where you don't have a choice on the maps, are really like impactful on the fact that whether you are going to make it on 2nd place or 3rd place or 4th place, just because you might be facing these stronger teams on slightly weaker maps of yours?
That's a hard question.
Nice, Samski, you completely ruined the momentum.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I mean, like I think Ali's perspective is that you can beat any team in Prem on your day.
Yeah.
But obviously, if
Yeah,
you're
obviously.
facing a top team on a map that they're better on, like historically, obviously it's going to be tougher for you. So that's what I was insinuating. Do you think that it's going to be a bit more of a struggle facing these teams on stronger maps that you're not particularly strong on?
I mean, yeah, definitely. Definitely, man.
but no plan as to how to get around that, I guess.
Like we know how to beat them. It's just about, it's not so much about like different strategies. It's more just about the execution, and we just need to like play well and execute what we know and focus on what we know and just play our game and shit. Instead of, I don't know.
Instead of adapting to who we play. Because if we adapt to who we play for every team, that's just so many different styles of playing, and then it gets messy, and then people get confused, and then...
I mean, we'll adapt a little bit. Like,
yeah, but not like...
on a human level, like as you do.
Probably the best strategy. Thank you, Ali, for that insight. That's live teaching for you guys. I think we're good. Samski, I don't know if you have any more questions.
No, we should leave it there before Ali memes us anymore.
So before we go to shoutouts, just one word about the Germans. Their next week game will be against the Fellowship, so stay alert. Maybe we'll cover that on TFTV, and I think Samski, you can lead us through the shoutouts.
So we'll start from the top. So Ali, any shoutouts?
Shout out to Samski, and that's it. And Ombrack.
Thank you.
And Gemm. And stream overlay TFTV2. And shout out to the people in the other channel. Dom, Hipfire, Morris. Yeah. That's all I got.
Kune.
Shout out to all you people doing this production. Shout out to my team, and yeah, that's it.
Ombrack, do you want to do any shout outs?
Shout out to Demo for stealing my chance of playing Demo Man last night.
Okay, well, I'm going to wrap that up there. So this was a week 2 official of Feint Gaming versus liest is doof. It was 2 maps, 2-0 for Feint, taking Granary and Viaduct for Season 31, sponsored by STN Trading and Copenhagen Games. We'll see you later in the week, guys. We've got plenty of more games coming this week. Have a good night.